Hey, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about historical fiction recommendations. Hey, so welcome back to my channel. This is the third episode in my little series that I'm doing. I've already done horror recommendations and romance recommendations. In this video I'm doing historical fiction. It's probably one of my favourite genres as well, so I've read quite a few over years, but I've just picked out 5 for today. So if you're liking these videos and want to know more recommendations, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and let's get to it. So the first book is The Brothers of Auschwitz. Yitzhak and Dov, don't think I'm saying one of the brothers' names right. They're brothers and they live in a farm in Hungary. Until they're forced into the Auschwitz concentration camp. It tells a story about them after the war, that they are both married, but they find it really hard to adjust. They can't leave Israel. Dov's always hungry. They don't like trains, understandable. But it's a story about them making friends because it is based on a true story. And they become friends with the author, Malka Alder. And then it's just the story of them telling the author what happened to them in the concentration camps. They can't leave Israel, but even though they find out they have a sister that's still alive, but it's just their account as telling the author what they went through. It is a really touching story because it does go into detail of what happened. But yeah, this is a really good read. It's a 5-star. But yeah, if you like, this is a true story. So if you like true stories and you like learning about the war and what they went through in the concentration camps, this one is for you. The next one is quite a popular book. I read it a couple of years ago, The Nightingale by Christian Hannah. This is about 2 sisters, Vivian and Isabel. Isabel is expelled from school and she ends up living with her sister Vivian. Then as the Germans move in, a German officer, Beck, he's assigned to live with Vivian, and Isabel does not like this at all. She goes on to join the resistance, to send messages to Paris and basically do her bit undercover. Vivian, she quite likes Beck. She asks, he asks her for a list of the Jews and communists that work at the school that she works at. So, Vivian, she likes him, so she gives it him. But then she feels very guilty because they all get fired, even her best friend Rachel. Then it just goes through the story of what happens where the Jews, they all get their badges put on. Vivian, because she tries to stick up for one of her friends at the school, she gets fired as well. Her friend Rachel is sent away with her 2 children, but there's a shooting incident breaks out, and let's just say Vivian ends up looking after Rachel's son and changes his name to Daniel, so he doesn't sound Jewish. So she basically looks after him for the whole of the war, keeping him, a bit quiet, that she's looking after him and her daughter. But it's a beautiful story. It follows the 2 sisters through different lives during the war, one in the resistance and one basically, I suppose, at the home front, hosting a German officer and what they had to go through. But there's one part I had to read a couple of times. I was like, did that really just happen? Did that just really happen? And it is quite tearful. So yeah, this is an absolute fantastic book, and you've probably heard of it and read of it before because it's quite popular. But if you haven't, please do. The next one is The Yellow Bird Sings by Jennifer Rossner. Now, this is a story about Rosa and her daughter Shira. They are Jewish and they are forced to hide in a barn on a farm. And they stay there for quite a while in the hay barn. They have to hide in the hay. They have to stay really quiet. They come up with their own sign language so they can talk to each other. but her daughter, she likes to sing and dance, and she can't do that while in the hayloft. Rosa then one day realised they're not safe in that loft anymore, and she needs to make a choice to keep Shira by her side or let her go and give her a chance to survive. It's about an unbreakable bond between a mother and daughter, but she lets her daughter go, but the happy ending is they both survive and they do reunite. But I'm not going to say too much because they go through a hell of a lot to get there. But yeah, if you love unbreakable bonds, especially a mother-daughter bond, this one is for you. Yeah, I read this pretty quickly, and again, this was a five-star read for me. The next one is A Puppet Boy of Warsaw. This is about Mika. Mika and his granddad, they're living in the Warsaw ghetto. His grandfather dies while in the ghetto, and Mika, he inherits his grandfather's treasures, his big coat with lots of different pockets, and his puppet. Now Mika starts performing with his granddad's puppet in the ghetto. He has such a talent. He tries to bring, a bit of entertainment and happiness to the people who are stuck in the ghetto. Then one day Mika is stopped by a German soldier, and he is forced to lead a double life. This double life is to entertain the German soldiers with his puppet. Now this German soldier is called Max, and they kind of become, I suppose, friends really. Mika then asks Max to keep his mom and aunt safe, which he does, because basically his mom and aunt will be sent to the concentration camps, and Mika doesn't want that because he's heard the stories of what happens there. As a thank you, he gives Max the puppet, and this puppet travels with Max as he escapes to Siberia. Sorry, you can hear a crying puppy in the background. Come here. Oh, because she sees the cat on the shed roof. But yeah, anyway, they escape, and then later on Max gives his granddaughter this puppet, and she finds out all about Mika, and he ended up living in New York, and she travels there, I think to return the puppet to the family, but it was a while ago I read this. But yeah, again, another 5-star. I absolutely love this book. But as it says on the front, even in the darkest days, there is hope. So Ava Weaver, this book is amazing. So yeah, that's another one. And this one I've left to last for a reason. This book is one of the first historical fictions I read as a child. I think I was under the age of 10. But it's my all-time favourite. I've read it a few times, and it is called When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit by Judith Kerr. Now this is a story about Anna and her family. They have to flee Berlin because they're Jews, and they can only take limited things with them. So Anna has to choose between a cuddly dog or Pink Rabbit. So she chooses cuddly dog. They go and stay in Switzerland for a while. And then her papa and mama, they go travelling to Paris to find jobs, leave Anna and her brother in Switzerland where it's safe. And Anna's papa, he returns to Switzerland, and then they all move to Paris, where papa can find a job. They're there for a while. Anna finds it hard to learn French, but then she suddenly does. And then they travel from Paris to London, where papa believes he can work for the BBC. But yeah, it's just a story about Anna and her family escaping Germany and moving around until they're finally safe. But when they get to London, they are safe. I didn't realise until quite recently that this is actually a trilogy. I've got the third one, which I've read, but I need to get the second and read that one. But yeah, this is the book that got me into reading and the love for reading and for historical fiction. And it's not the original cover that I have, this is another one. But yeah, all these books are 5 out of 5, and as you can tell, I like historical fiction based on Second World War and concentration camps, because it brings to light the history of what, you know, probably your grandparents or great-grandparents went through, and the, you know, what they had to do to survive. But yeah, I hope that you like that recommendation for historical fiction. And remember to like and subscribe if you like more recommendations for different genres. And I will see you again next time for another video. Bye!